What's this? We're getting more countdown action here than a NASA system. Good morning, guys. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever. You can see what we're up to today. It's just more of the same. More of the same old stuff. In recent days, after print parties, we sometimes for the print parties when it's not too busy, we will show the people around. They come to the back room here if they've asked about, how the prints are made. So they see the carving bench. And this print is on the bench, and we tell people that's it. This is going into the print party room soon. And they're all like, "Oh my God, I wish I could have done that one today," and stuff like that. But just tell them you have to come back. Next time you come back in a few weeks or a month or whatever, this will be ready. So perhaps this one will be ready at the same time as the first floor new party room will be done. I don't know. Party room's coming along very nicely down there. Lee-san is now, Aoyama-san now, has finished the plastering on all the walls. It looks great. He's we're amateurs at this now. We don't know how to do stuff like plastering and things. It's really, really tricky to get a good smooth surface to make a flat wall. Really difficult. So we can't hope to do that properly. So what we do, of course, is we just put a rough texture in it. But it's also difficult to make a rough texture that looks like it isn't just totally sloppy. So we've had some false starts in the main wall that's at the back of the print party room, behind when people face the other way when they're making their prints. He tried putting I don't know what it's called when you do semicircles with the trowel and stuff. You put an arc, shoop, 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 shoop. It's kind of a pattern. And the first time we tried it was a disaster. It just looked really hokey. But he didn't give up. And the other day he practiced some more, straightened it out, leveled it out, put some more plaster on there and tried again. And it looks very cool this time. It really, really looks nice. Maybe a professional wall plasterer would look at this and think, "Oh my God, what have you guys done?" But I'm not too worried about that. And I doubt there are such things as professional wall plasterers anymore anyway, so whatever. And if all goes well, tomorrow the ceiling goes up. Tomorrow, Monday afternoon, the new ceiling on the party room goes up. And that will transform the place, totally transform the place. Somebody's asking, what's the question? I can only see my name in black. What does it say? Has Cameron taken any more construction for us? Yes, I think he has, actually. He's not here today because it's Sunday. I guess he's keeping it pretty secret. I'm sorry. I know we're not trying to tease you or anything. Just we are really kind of busy these days. It's still busy spring season. And Cameron's not fooling around. He's up there every day on the mail and orders. And I'm sorry, just there's priority stuff, which is the orders and keeping our processing going. And he's a little different from the rest of us in that Cameron gets out of here in the evenings. He doesn't hang around town. When it's like 5 o'clock, that's it. he's gone, so he doesn't, spend extra time here working on other projects. It's not that he's a, bizarre clock watcher or something, but he's a family guy. He's got his wife and kid waiting, and we promised him that he wouldn't be in a job that was burdened with a ton of overtime. And he's sort of taken that totally literally. It's okay. I could mention about pictures. One thing, I know the other day I was talking to you about the wood we bought, the new cherry wood we bought. And I don't know if some of you have noticed, but I did make a blog post about that yesterday. So there's pictures, a series of pictures of the new cherry wood that is now seasoning here. If you go to the Conversations blog, mokuhankan.com/conversations, the new photos of the wood are up there. And we were saying the other day we bought a tree, well, whatever, we bought a chunk of a tree. And we have no idea whether it'll be good wood or useful for us or not. We have no idea. We won't know until such times it gets to the carving bench years from now. Yeah, someone's got the link. Thank you. There's also a photo in there, a small photo of one of our most secretive workers, young Lei-chan, the young girl from Hong Kong. She's printing today. She'll be here printing the Patreon chibis, the ones that I was carving over the past week or so. My fan is starting to run. Yeah, I wonder why. Is that an indication of something going on? The fan is pumping here. Dropped frame 0. CPU usage 12.2%. Seems okay. Safari is gone. Doesn't exist. Google Chrome is running just the Twitch window. Nothing else running, but the fan is starting to churn. Let me know if you have any problems with this, please. Yeah, carrying that wood up the stairs, you're commenting about that, Nay. So, no, the thing is on, actually it's on feet, and there's space under the laptop, there's space all around it. As I touch it, it's not hot. It's warm, but not specifically hot. There's no other software running, you know? Nope, not at all. The CPU is running only at 12%. There's no reason for this thing to be, whatever, we'll see. Yeah, we got that wood out of the truck. I know they're not such gigantic pieces of wood, but they are really heavy. This was raw lumber, just the tree itself was standing about a week before we bought it. So it was wet, wet, wet. So that wood is very, very heavy. Even the small pieces were really heavy. I just stood back. There's no way I can mess with that stuff. The whole downside to this tree thing, though, is, we don't have any idea whether this is good wood or not. It's going to take a couple of years before we can even find out. I was thinking of just maybe slicing a piece off it now, a small piece, and just letting it dry. Slicing a thin piece off, letting it dry. Just to see what the wood is like, but I don't know if that's going to give me a good indication of what the proper wood will be like once it dries carefully. So then all we can do is just simply throw it in the storehouse overnight, just wait, and keep buying more in the meantime. And just buy good variations. Keep buying different types of it, so we're not stuck with, if we buy the same thing all the time and it turns out it's no good, we're in trouble. So just keep getting a mix of different stuff. Yeah, that's right, Bitcoin mining. I think my CPU would show it. It says at the moment CPU 11.8%, so I think it would show if that's what was happening. So. I'm just trying to do this in logical zones. As I mentioned yesterday, I was getting confused which one of these stripes should stay and which stripes should go. Again, on the original print, I need to recap. There's 3 layers of blue on the original. Very light blue, a medium blue, and a dark blue. And the dark blue can be cut on the same block as the actual outlines. So rather than cutting an outline here, an outline here, an outline here, and then making a separate dark blue block, these dark blue block zones are on the same block as the waves themselves. And that's what we're doing here on this one. This is the key block. So this is the waves themselves will be on this block, and those dark zones in between. It's hard for me to figure out which is which and which isn't which. This is a dark zone, this is a dark zone, this is light. So I'm just, to get rid of the confusion, I'm just going to try and cut them all at once. This zone stays, this will stay, this will go, this will stay. This is a white coming in, this will stay, this will stay. No, this will stay, that will go. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't screw up. So that's why I'm jumping around to different parts of the block here to follow these wave patterns. And once I've got those done, I'll just get all the curly things done all at once. So that's a stay, that's a cutout. This must be a cutout. And they're all rough and wiggly. There's no smooth stuff here. It's all zigzag, zigzag. You see when I'm carving what looks like it's sort of a straight or a curved line, there's no way. We just keep the knife wiggling left, right, left, right. I'm not trying to follow any written pattern here. I'm just keeping it in style, keeping it rough and zigzag. Okay, I think the pattern's defined. This line is smoother, it's not so, this is the curve of the seed crest, this is not so jagged. On the original, this part where the C crests up at the top and moves to another wave, there's a sort of semi-famous among those of us who look at this print. This crisscrosses. If I can see, I can find it here. Here, so on the original, it crisscrosses. And to me, this is a mistake. Whoever carved this thing should have cut this one off, or this one off, whichever. You can't have both of these visible. And in all the Hokusai wave versions, these are both visible. So I just copied that. No matter which version you look at from the old days, they're still both there. And it doesn't make any sense. One of them should be, one of them should be hidden. This line should not be there. But on our own little version here, heck with it. This is all an adaptation, so I've done it properly. The curve comes down and another goes inside. So. But it's a great wave series. Episode 15 was painful. I don't remember that. It's all history to me now. I don't remember it. I know what I do remember is that when I was telling those stories about the great wave print on those videos, I was of two minds how much to talk about the problems that I was encountering. I decided to whatever, just go with it, just tell the story for the most part as it was. But I do remember that a couple of places I just thought, oh my God, I can't tell them this. They'll look like an absolute idiot. So I didn't tell about all the problems that came up. In other words, there was more than what you saw. As I sit here right now, I don't specifically remember what specific things happened and what came up, but I do remember that I know I didn't tell all the negative things that happened because I was afraid of making myself look like an absolute idiot, Because some of them were really no-brainers. Yeah, why didn't you think of that, or a second, or something like this. But, it was good fun. It was a huge learning experience. And even for a person who had been making prints for like whatever it was already, 30 years at the time, it was a really good experience. Reminding you that, no matter how good you think you are, there's always, always, always more to come. And I do admit that part of the problems that happened with that were due to a fair amount of too much confidence. I know what I'm doing now, so it's okay. I can just handle that. Just let it come. Don't prepare quite so carefully and just deal with it as it comes. That was part of it. It wasn't so much pre-planned carefully as it was just sort of generally planned, and then, okay, I can handle this. Whatever comes along, I'll be able to handle it as it comes. And that approach was really not such a good idea for such a project that was so visible. This happens with our daily work every day. Stuff goes on. You've seen it in this current work. The knife will break, or something will happen, or this or that will go on. wonder if that's for today. I'd better check it and see so that I know. There is no party scheduled for 10 this morning. That slot's open, so it's possible that's what this is. So let me have a look and see what's happening here. Party reservation. No, it's for the end of May. No problem. I don't know if it's a viewer. I shouldn't put the name, whatever. It's somebody from the USA booking for a date in May 26th. So just part of our normal reservation system. We get reservations two ways. One is from individual people and groups, families, whatever, going to the reservation page and booking it. And we also get some reservations from travel companies. There's 2 or 3 travel companies who are dealing in Japan tours. One is called Inside Japan, one is called Beauty of Japan, and they have access to our reservation system, and they themselves book people into it. So in other words, they sell our party as part of a package that they're selling to people coming to Japan, part of a tour. They're booking hotel, trains, everything else. And they book these print parties as part of the package tour they sell to these people. So they themselves book the reservation, and the people just show up and don't need to pay because they've paid their travel company already. So we have 2 kinds of reservations coming in. And Airbnb, we've chatted about this before, Airbnb wanted to get involved with our stuff, and we had to say no. Their terms were far too onerous for us to accept. And they're struggling in Japan now because of the law. The laws are coming down strongly, not in favor of what they call minpaku, home-based accommodations. The various levels of government here, the national government and the various city governments are struggling with how to handle this. And the recent versions of the laws have come down strongly against this kind of stuff. It's going to be difficult for Airbnb to really make a major presence here in Japan now. The bureaucrat side is winning as opposed to the government side, which wants to encourage tourism and make things easier for tourists. But the bureaucracy side, which is concerned about, public safety and tax revenue and all those other things, it seems to have the upper hand at the moment. So. But Airbnb wanted us to join their experience system, but their terms were way too restrictive for us. Besides being extremely unpleasant people, the woman that came from Airbnb was just grotesquely aggressive. All right, we've got to dig into this. Let's get into the middle of this. Curly-Qs. It wasn't worth bothering, that just was just 2 centimeters. It was just easier to do that. If I got to set up my bench dog and zoom out the microscope and bang, 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 it was just easier to just clear it up by hand. When I get to this wider part out here, and here, and here, and around the edge, of course I'll be using the big wide chisels. But just for this little bit in the middle, it didn't matter. It wasn't worth changing over. You doing okay here? Sort of ignore you guys. What's happening here? Sounds? Whistle noise in the background. There is a fan running. Here, if I take the mic here, look. Here's the mic. Actually, I can't bring it closer. I think I can bring it a bit closer. Picking up laptop fan, maybe, who knows? Other than that noise, somebody's doing a bit of construction outside. It's quiet now, it was hammering a bit earlier. My stomach is burbling a little bit, haven't had breakfast yet. I hear a question. Hang on a sec. Question. Which questions? Two questions. Well, one was from yesterday. I didn't see that. Look at that. Sorry about that. The first one from yesterday is, am I going anywhere for Golden Week? Yeah, like upstairs and downstairs. No, Golden Week is not a time when I can get away, obviously. It's like the train drivers. Train drivers work extra on holidays, and we're a service provider. So holidays are not our holidays at the same time, you know. And what's the next question? This is out of my pay grade here. Do you know why Japanese artists liked to change their names so frequently? Does it still happen? I really can't talk much about that. I don't know. I really don't know much about that side of things. You know, remember, I'm not an ukiyo-e expert at all. I'm not an expert on Japanese art. I don't even know much about the history of this stuff. My field of endeavor is the actual making of these things, the cutting of the wood and the paper impressions and inspecting the details of the physical objects. So I'm really not the go-to person when you have questions about, the culture of the day or the artists or such questions like this, why did Hokusai change his name so often? I have to just simply say, I don't know. I haven't studied these things, and I don't have much inherent knowledge of them. So no, I'm going to have to just back off a little bit and say I don't really know. Other than the generic knowledge I have just coming from general cultural knowledge. That in the old days, people did use their name change to signify a change in maybe artistic style was changing or something like that. They wanted to make a break with what they were doing before. And it's actually an interesting question that even though there was no internet and stuff back then, when somebody did change his name, how did you get the information transferred? How did people know who this guy was? Oh yeah, he's the person who was formerly known as such and such. I guess there are some. We've seen some woodblock prints, and they're announcements of name changes. So there was a formal structure for it. From here on in, I will be known as such and such, formerly such and such. But no, I don't know much about it from a specialist point of view at all. I'm not going to change my name. Although if I did take citizenship, I have to take a new name. So no, I'm sorry, I can't offer much insight into that. I guess you saw that video. It was posted on the Acolyte page a month or so ago. A little rip spoof that a couple of young lady comedians did. They made up a song based on all the different names that Hokusai used during his life, and it just goes on and on and on and on. That must be blue. In here must be blue. So this one comes out. I'm not sure what color that should be. I think that curves down here, so I think that's out. It's a lullaby stream today, is it? As long as I don't go to sleep. A couple of hours from now, and the streets outside here are going to be jumping. It's Sunday, the first Sunday in Golden Week. And it was such fun yesterday. Our shop isn't really busy on these holidays. We've chatted about this before. The busier the street is outside, the fewer people come into the shop itself. They perhaps can't see the entrance, and the streets itself are just so much fun. And just the people walking by. There's people eating street food and just chatting, and they're into a bar and out of a bar and doing this. And people that have come back from the theme park, the Hanayashiki that's up the street. That's it's booming business yesterday and today. And the sun was shining, and it's just so much fun. The streets are so much alive. There's no real public drunkenness and stuff. It's just sort of, it's almost cliched. A bunch of happy people strolling around, enjoying themselves. Asakusa is really coming back. Back in the 1920s or so, it was the place where people did that. They came to stroll and to go to a theater and drink a bit and hang out. When there was nothing else to do in other places of Tokyo, there was no TV and stuff like that. And it's really a bit coming back. And I was standing outside just yesterday afternoon towards evening when I was getting ready to close up. And the streets were still buzzing. A group of young girls came by, and they must have been, I don't know, high school kids. And schools are closed for the holiday weekend, of course. Maybe they were high school girls, so they weren't here to drink and stuff like that. They just had their, not fancy clothes, outgoing, the clothes on that you would go out for a day on the town and stuff, maybe whatever. And they were chatting as they went by, and just a scrap of conversation as they happened to pass me. And one of them said something in a real sort of colloquial language that was actually not so easy for me to understand. And she was just saying, "Wow, that sucks. I had no idea it was so cool here." And that's really good news to hear, because for many, many years now, Asakusa has been what those girls would call dasai. It's old-fashioned and down at heel, and just old guys are here betting on horses and getting drunk and going to strip clubs and stuff like that. And that's the image that it's had for decades. And it's been changing now, and it's so cool to hear those high school girls. They're onto this. They know about this. So over the coming years now, there's no limit to the kind of how much this can change and become a really pleasant place to go and hang out. And on top of that, the mix, of course, of the stunning influx of tourists. People from overseas, they come here because it's Sensoji and Kaminarimon, and because Asakusa is listed in all the guidebooks and stuff. But it's now become such a pleasant place for those people to visit. We've been in this shop now nearly 4 years, and time again, well, almost every day, we're getting repeaters, and people, I couldn't resist. I had to come back. Coming back means I had to come back to Japan, and then while they're here in Japan, they got to come back to this part of town. If I was a town planner or something, I would encourage many more of these restaurants to put patios outside, to do a sit and cafe culture more. Is there a spam bot here? Ban user, okay, done. Too late now, but whatever. Too many questions, I can't see. Tick, 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 tick. Well, that one, should that be dark blue or light blue? I don't know. That's dark blue there. I think that should be dark blue. Let's leave it. Another question. What kind of breakfast does Dave have time for? Coffee and a cigarette. A cigarette? You gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding. Mild coffee I don't mind, but cigarettes, no thanks. Never in my life. Okay, the question is not a question actually, it's just a comment from a fan. Thanks. Thanks to be here on Twitch. Glad to find you on Twitch. Be watching regularly. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you. No, Dave doesn't smoke, has never tried it, not even once, is repulsed by the idea. So you can cross that off your list, you know. And the number of questions repeatedly asking about this flask being a bong. No way, no way, no way, no way. It's a measure of how square I am. I've never ever even tried smoking, not even when I was a kid, a teenager, you know. Doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, can carve a little. It says no alcohol, no smoking. What's your guilty pleasure? I don't understand. Not alcohol. I'm not a teetotaler. I have a beer usually with with dinner most evenings. Just a beer, a single beer. I don't drink, stuff like whiskeys and things like that. Just a light beer with dinner. That's about all I got. What's my guilty pleasure? I don't know. I don't. The octopus prince, whatever. So yeah, is that my guilty pleasure? Porn? Sorry, I don't have any of that on my computer either. But no, I don't know. Just a quiet life, just doing my work. It's okay. Somebody's got the Esther. That's what I was. Alluding to. Very nice. That's what I was alluding to. I'm recently, getting into, I made that tiny allusion there to the Fred Astaire thing. Okay, that's fine. But more and more in my life now, because I'm surrounded by people, by definition who are younger than me, I'm finding that I can make those comments or allusions or whatever, and nobody knows what I'm talking about. Especially here in Japan, the people I deal with every day, my staff and stuff, they don't know the smaller little nuances of North American culture. Like I mentioned that Fred Astaire line. And they have no idea what I'm talking about. And this is plus minus. I know the minus is that it's a bit sad that you can't converse at a certain level with people because they don't have the same background that you do. And the plus side comes at when you try and tell jokes. And this is funny. It happened a few days ago in the shop here. I can't remember what it was. I sort of half cracked some stupid little joke that was old before I was old, a little joke. And the staff guy laughs, and you realize that these people around me are so young that they don't know all these old stupid jokes that were so old when I was already old, So it's a chance to tell jokes that nobody knows. I forget what it was. It was a joke that I would never tell in an environment like this because everybody would just roll their eyes. Why is David saying this? Because we all know this old joke, But here, surrounded by younger people and younger people from a different culture, they don't know these things. So you crack stuff and they think you're a funny man and all you're doing is repeating something that was tired when I was 6 years old, So I'm pleased to see somebody recognizing that little side allusion to the Fred Astaire line. Very nice. Yeah, keep careful count. That's in. That's in, so this must be out. Telephone, excuse me. I'm not going to get there in time, I don't think. Moshi moshi, Mokuhankan desu. おはようございます。はい。今、知ったですか？はい、じゃあ、行きます。はい、私です。はい。はい、じゃあ行きます。はい、どうも。 Jeez, that fan is noisy there. Yeesh. So, delivery. It was a delivery, a fun delivery. I know I haven't put pictures up, I guess, whatever. We talked about it a few days ago. Down in the entrance to the new shop downstairs, there's a little alcove where you come into the shop. And a few days ago, we put up a large poster, the rickshaw cart print, 2 meters tall poster, bang, 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 bang. Rather than order all the posters at the same time, we got that one as a test. And because it looked so good, I went ahead and ordered some more posters. So what's just delivered now is the one for the left side of the shop, which I'm going to put up this morning if there's no print parties. So I'll post or something, photographs, I keep promising, but whatever. And that was the delivery right now. The Fox Moon banner, yes, it's coming. When was the last time you rebooted? It'll be in an hour from now when I get off here, yes. No, when was the last time I rebooted? It wasn't all that long ago, you know, just a few days ago. After we get off the thing here, I'm going to show... Where's the window gone? Seems okay. Nothing's wrong. Dave, leave it alone. Don't worry about it. It's working. There are no drop frames. We're looking good. Anyway, we've got a few minutes left. What do we got here? It's 9:17. Doorbells will be ringing. Today it's Kawai-san and Nakamura-san. Oh, that's something else that will be happening today. Because we have so few print parties scheduled today, I have some jobs assigned for the staff. And I've got the scanner ready, and Nakamura-san is going to spend all day long today scanning shop stuff to put into the flea market. We've been ignoring the flea market, the online flea market. I don't say this as a promotion or whatever, but what we're going to do this morning and this afternoon, is her job is to get a couple more dozen prints up into the flea market section. And unless we get really bothered by a sudden influx of customers, that's what will be happening today. There will be more prints appearing throughout the course of the day in the flea market section of our shop. Yeah, I'll pop up the activity monitor first, but almost always what happens when you look at the activity monitor is it just shows you some system process, which is Greek letters or whatever running at the bottom. And sometimes it's spotlight indexing, which doesn't seem to be the case here. That would be showing heavy CPU usage. So the curiosity for me now is why the fan is running but the CPU is idling. Here we are. Here's the door downstairs. This must be Kawai-san. He's going to be curious why the door's open. Stand by for ping pong. this doorbell ringing sound, that you get here, this is soon going to become a thing of the past. So we won't be hearing that too much longer, actually. Once we're downstairs, there won't be a doorbell because all areas of the shop are visible to the staff. We have a doorbell now because when the staff is in the back room here or in a print party, we can't see the shop area. So we need to know when someone comes into it, of course. Once we go downstairs, it's all one big open space, so I don't think we'll have a doorbell. And I'm going to be streaming from the first floor once we get down there. One corner of it will be this carving bench. This carving bench is going down there. And the streams will be live from the Mokuhankan shop in Asakusa, Tokyo. Visible from the middle of the shop. Bells are ringing. What's going on in the mail here? So you're linking to the flea market. So not much in it right now. I'm sorry. It really fluctuates. It goes up when we get a flurry of stuff to put in it, and then it goes down as they sell out. It's hard for us to find time to keep it up to date. But today is one such day when it's going to be updated. So stand by, please. He went to check the party schedule first to see what's on it. I think you should have come to say hello first. Hi, good morning, hello. 今日パーティー少ない。
そうですね。
下のドア、5分前ぐらいに配達あったんですから。
下の
5分前ぐらいに配達あったんです。僕、開け。
一応、看板。
そう、Fox、そう。Say good morning to everybody.
Good morning. おはようございます。
This is Kawai-san, for those of you who don't know, one of our long-term staff members here. He'll be doing the print parties today. They're saying, Kawai-san, ohayo, of course.
おはようございます。お辞儀で言おうかな。お辞儀パフォーマンス。
今日のストリームは結構 quiet stream.
そう。
僕ホテル間にちょっとだけチャッ。
サンデー、向こうサンデー。Europe.
Yeah, no,
Saturday
night.
Saturday night. More drinking too much.
They're sitting here watching. They should be out drinking or something. Saturday night. Saturday night. What kind of a get a life? So.
すごいね。サタデーナイトで見てる。ちょっと好きだよね。
This must be really interesting, I guess.
すごいね。ファン。
guess we should get this wrapped up. I've got stuff to do today. We're not flooded with print parties, but we do have a lot of work to do. So let me get this done and get out to the shop. Here's a recap. Here's what we're doing. It's coming along quite well, you know. Look at this. Coming along well. All the boats and men and that part of it are done. We're working, of course, up here on the wave section. That's where I've been carving the last few minutes. I've been up here. Once the wave itself is done, a few minutes left. Well, no, I've got some text to do. And a few minutes to clear it out. And there will be 4 color blocks for this print. The real Great Wave design. Let's have a look at that. The real Great Wave is printed with 8 impressions. It's 4 pieces of wood and it takes 8 impressions. Our simplified version is going to have 5 pieces of wood and 5 impressions. We can't use the back side in the print party because we can't flip them over. There has to be 5 pieces of wood side by side. And we're going to have a dark black, a dark blue block, same as you see here. We're going to have a medium blue block which will also incorporate the lighter blues that are in this area. So ours will have 2 blue areas. Then we will have a block, zoom out a bit further I guess. We will have another block that has a sky color plus the base color for the boats. So that'll be 3 tones. Then we will have a faint gray tone which shows the sky. It'll show all the foam in the sky, and it'll also cover part of the other areas to give a more tonality to it. And then the final block we have will be this one to do the gradation behind the mountain, and that's going to be the make or break block. For us, this is not so difficult to print, but for people in our print party room, making a gradation is going to be interesting to say the least. So that's the plan for this print. It shouldn't be too long now before it's actually up and in the party room. Too long meaning whatever, a few weeks or something like that. Okay, I guess I'm going to get to work now. We're going to open the shop, get our day going. I'm going to try and put up that Fox Moon poster. Nakamura-san's going to work on the flea market. Kawai-san's going to run the 2 print parties that are booked. And we'll see what happens for the rest of the day. Today's Sunday. Tomorrow morning I should be here. Same time, same station. Continuing with this carving on this key block. I'm off now, guys. Thanks very much for watching. I'll try and catch through the chat here to see what I missed later on. And I'm now on the way. Thanks again, and see you tomorrow. Step 1, down. What's this? Starting the countdown now, he says. Okay, I'm off now. Thanks so much, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.